Now, this week the federal government announced loan concessions in the hope it will boost investment in infrastructure in Northern Australia. The announcement followed a pledge of more than $100 million to improve beef roads in the Northern Territory.
Tracey Hayes is the CEO of the Northern Territory Cattlemen's Association. She joins us now from Darwin. Tracey Hayes, welcome and thanks for your time this morning. Obviously, this money would be welcomed by the cattle industry in the top end. Do you think it's enough, and what sort of difference do you expect it to make?
Oh, good morning, Catherine and Andrew. Look, it is a welcome announcement, but however, it is the start of an amount of money that will be needed if we're serious about northern development, if we're serious about preparing the agriculture sector for future opportunities. $100 million spread right across the north of Australia, including Western Australia, Northern Territory and Queensland, is just a small amount in the scheme of things. If I can put it into some context for you, the Northern Territory's road network is around about 23,000 kilometres of road. 80% of those are currently dirt. So you can see from that number that $100 million, that'll buy you around about 150 kilometres of sealed road. So it's a small amount for a very big project.
Yeah, given those numbers, it seems unrealistic that you could possibly seal all of those roads, yet you do say it's important. Why is it important, particularly to cattle producers?
Well, look, it's sending a signal, I think, to northern producers, to cattle producers, that there is a focus on the beef sector and there is a focus on North Australia. It is the beginning of a large amount of money that is required. The Northern Territory government have identified a sum of $1.7 billion will be required longer term for the road network just in the Northern Territory alone.
Now, Tracey, Northern Australia was a pretty big focus in the budget, and the language coming out of Canberra is fairly positive. So are you hopeful it's a taste of things to come when the white paper on developing Northern Australia is finally unveiled?
Look, there's no question we're seeing a focus out of Canberra like we haven't experienced in the north for a very long time. There's a million people in the north of Australia on 50% of the land mass. We're represented by 13 pollies up here right across the north. Conversely, 22 million people below us, 213 pollies in the south. So it's an indication to us that the rest of Australia have recognised the opportunity that exists in the north, and that if we are fair dinkum about positioning Australia for future economic prosperity, there is opportunity in the north, and that's where the focus needs to be.
So is your argument the funding arrangements, given the relatively small population in the north you talk about there, that per capita funding doesn't necessarily work?
No, the per capita funding doesn't cut it when it comes to a cost-benefit analysis of infrastructure spend in the north. So it's back to the drawing board to come up with another method of allocating funding for these regions.
Well, I mean, that's obviously going to be difficult, particularly as the states argue about their share of the GST.
Yes, it's not easy. However, it needs to be viewed, I think, in the context of what is right and good for all of Australians longer term. And we understand that there is a growing demand for our produce. We're an important exporting nation, and the north of Australia is an enormous landscape. Provided development is approached in a sustainable manner, there is significant opportunity for our country to position itself for prosperity into the future. So
what else could help cattle trade expand, and how could the supply chain activity be improved?
Look, I think there are a range of measures in the budget, as we heard the Prime Minister talking about earlier, that will give beef businesses in the north a bit of a kick this year. There has been a number of poor seasons and difficult production years behind us. We're looking forward to the future. Cattle prices are strong. Cattle businesses have been through a difficult period, so we welcome the opportunity for instant asset write-off for capital purchases up to the value of $20,000. That will provide a significant kick to the rural communities that supply and support beef businesses in the Territory. In addition to that, the measures I believe are broadly related to drought preparedness, asset write-off for investment into fencing and water infrastructure are also a welcome measure for businesses in the north of Australia.
And Tracey Hayes, we've heard certainly politicians in the south talk about dreaming big for the top end as far as perhaps turning it into the food bowl of Asia. Now, many have said that that is completely unrealistic. Beyond production of cattle, where do you see the future for developing the food industry, at least in the top end?
Well, there's enormous opportunity in the north. It isn't just in relation to food. There's other industries and activities that we're talking about up here, but in particular we do have a developing and quite a strong horticulture and agriculture sector up here. The numbers when you drill down into them are quite surprising. So we have beautiful soils, we have an abundant supply of sunshine, and of course we have good water. So once again, provided we approach it in a long-term sustainable manner, there is real opportunity for food production in the north. We are perfectly geographically situated to the Asian nations north of us, and of course their growing demand for food into the future, in particular beef. We are well positioned in order to be able to provide food for export into the future.
Okay, Tracey Hayes from the Northern Territory Cattlemen's Association, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you.